to know, did the producers know about this story before she was cast or during the casting process?
You know, I honestly don't know when we were made aware exactly of Caelynn's story. We knew about it before that night. We knew that she was about to have this conversation, clearly, because we actually took precautions and some steps just to make it as intimate and as private as possible for them. And there are things you can do, you know, like we usually have a lot of people around, there's a lot of movement, and we're worried about getting shots, we've moved cameras, and that night, you know, we just had as few people on set as possible, moved them as far away as possible, and gave them as much privacy as they could, and just went with what we had and weren't worried about, let's make it look pretty or whatever. Let's just get this conversation and let's leave them alone.
And you actually you took a break and asked if
yeah, you know, afterwards we were just very cognizant of the fact that they just had an intense conversation, a very personal conversation, just making sure that they were okay and having people that Caelynn could talk to, and Colton too. And then that is, you know, not to shine the light on anyone other than Caelynn, but the way Colton handled it and the things it brought up in him as well, making sure he was okay.
Let's talk about what he revealed as well, because as you say, you saw and you understand a little bit more about why he's, you know, continued to be a virgin,
right,
because of his relationship that he was in the past as well.
Yeah, I knew there was, look, and I knew the jokes wrote themselves when we talked about him, his virginity and all that. And I knew it was going to be a cocktail joke and a big cliche fest early on. But I said there is going to be a discernible shift in the show. And I've talked to you about this. And I said, we'll get to a point in a conversation. This was the conversation that really changes the whole direction of how you see Colton, how you feel about him. And he, too, was involved in a relationship that was marred by sexual assault.
Here's what Colton said last night.
I have had a situation in my past where I was in a relationship in which she was sexually abused. And for me, that was the hardest thing I ever had to watch. Going through something with someone, looking into her eyes and just knowing, like, the pain associated with it. For me, for that to be my first love and, like, the first person who, like, I found, like, for me. And it didn't happen. And opening up last year about my virginity wasn't the easiest thing to do.
Right.
But I think, like, the thing I realized is everybody who asks me is like, why are you a virgin? They expect this simple answer. They want a reason.
Yeah.
And my reason is complicated.
Wow. Ashley, what did you think of last night's episode?
He handled it beautifully. She told her story so well, and she was so brave about it. I think it's crazy that we've gone over 20 seasons now, and I don't think any girl has ever come out with a story like this, but I think the stat is 1 in 6 women either experienced rape or attempted rape. So, I mean, she was the first here.
Well, you know what's interesting is, I always say this show doesn't change culture or make culture. It's a microcosm of what's going on in our culture. And I think, to your point, nobody speaking is a microcosm of what's gone on in our culture. And you and Ben, former Bachelor Ben H, do a podcast. Their podcast hadn't even come out. And they've already received hundreds of letters of people that are now telling these stories. And I told you backstage, a lot of them mothers who now have kids who are 20-something years old. They've never told their story before and have never talked to their kids. And so to your point is, I think I know a lot of people have gone through this and they just have never told their story. They felt ashamed. They felt like it was their fault somehow. And so I hope that this rips the Band-Aid off this and people start speaking about this.
But the mothers, because I think about our generation, and I know some friends that it's happened to, and I feel like with the Me Too movement and where we are, I was surprised that she was saying it was just 4 years ago. And now as parents, and I'm looking at our daughters about ready to go to college, I just thought maybe we'd come to a place where you could talk about things if hopefully these horrific things didn't happen, or you wouldn't be in that position, or boys would learn that this is completely unacceptable. Like, I can't believe it was just 4 years ago.
I also think that there's been a whole bunch of Hollywood actresses that have come out, but then to have like one relatable girl on The Bachelor, who, you know, she's just a college girl, it's totally different for the audience to see.
And again, I think to see two young people who are looking at each other like potential mates and saying, here's what I'm dealing with. here's where I've been hurt, here's where I am trying to heal, and in an effort to say, maybe even where are you hurt, where are you trying to heal, how can we support one another? I think it's a really moving thing for a new relationship.
And I love that because I think the way Colton talked about his own experience, it's also, I'm raising young boys, you're raising young girls, and it's the other side of the conversation too. And it's like to be that person in the room who grabs your friends and say, don't do this. You can't do this. That's criminal. And
but to also be the guy who says to the woman or the individual who's been hurt this way, I love you, and you're lovable, and you're worthy, and you're worth
And
love.
I thought Caelynn had a great point. You know, we stopped the clip right before she jumped back in and said, no, there is a ripple effect. It's not just about the one person. You know, her family was affected, her friends are affected, her relationships are affected, and you know, you saw what Colton went through, and there will be a subsequent conversation with Colton and myself where we sit down in our next location and kind of dive deeper into this.
Oh, I like that.
And talk a lot more about his situation in particular, because you know it's kind of about his journey as we move forward. But this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg as we get going.
How was Caelynn after this? Because you said you stopped filming and everybody.
Yeah,
made sure
well, you know,
okay.
and again, I don't want to say we didn't stop filming. It's not like we shut down production or anything. We knew this conversation was about to take place, so we were prepared for it going in. And kudos to our producers, to the photogs, to audio. I mean, because we took some pretty large lengths to make this as private and personal as possible, but still capture it. There's always mechanisms in place to make sure these people are taken care of, and we love these people very much. And Ashley can speak to this. We're always there for them, making sure they are okay. And she's spoken about this before. This has been her platform and all that. So we knew she was going to be okay, but it was gut-wrenching. I think maybe it was almost harder for a lot of us to hear.
It was. Yeah.
Was there ever a point where the show considered not airing it? Like once you got it, once you got the information?
You know, I think, and again, kudos to the executive producers, of which I'm a part of that team, of this stuff needs to be heard.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And one thing, again, as you mentioned, we're all here for the funny, the campiness, the goofy, the Ashley crying.
Sorry, Ashley.
We needed to laugh.
We're all there for that. But then there are times when this show, and I've been here a lot with you guys, will push kind of some social issue.
Yes.
And it's great because all of a sudden it raises the level of debate, no matter what it was. You know, I go back to Caelynn and the double standard of women and men. You know, there's a lot of things where we've kind of touched on issues where we end up having these conversations. And if nothing else from this show, the fact that we're sitting here today talking about this and sexual assault and taking that stigma away, hopefully, and that there are people, moms out there and daughters and moms and daughters.
College campuses, guys, it is viewing party Monday on college campuses. So I'm thinking of all these young women.
I know
and
there are
men.
thousands of sororities that sit around. Hopefully they go into their next chapter and have a massive conversation about this. And I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 17-year-old son. Now I have a reason to debate and talk to them and start this conversation.
For them to see it real.
I wonder
was-
if did you talk to any of the other Bachelor contestants as well? Because I would bet you in that room there's more than just Caelynn.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that Caelynn went back and talked to the girls, and off the top of my head, I can't remember if anyone else stepped forward and said, you know, that also happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Not at all.
All right,
Thank
well,
you guys.
thanks for coming in today. You guys have to come back. We need to talk about the kangaroo hop by Colton. We got the other stuff that is all in there.
We've still got so much to discuss.
But the rest of the season is awesome. It really does. I mean, you saw this shift, and it's from here on out is just.
He's a different kind of Bachelor.
He is. You know what? He's a good man. And I was excited for people to get to see the man that he is. There's the hop. The great leap heard around the world.
Chooses anybody. You don't see Neil Lane. There's no getting out of the lane. I don't know.
I feel like Kit might have been in the house at some point. It's like, hold on, let me just see.
If you don't see Neil Lane, you know it's not good.
You know it's right. All right, well, you can see more of Ashley. You can hear more of Ashley I on our podcast, I Don't Get It, and Ben and Ashley, Almost Famous, available on iTunes. And The Bachelor is back Monday at 8 on ABC.